Yes, 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 guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Bootcast podcast. I'm your host, Justin. I'm with my fellow co-host, Colby. Colby, man, how you doing today?
I'm sick, brother. I'm sick.
You look sick, man.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that like you look like shit. I mean like you physically look ill.
Yeah, I physically feel and look sick. Been in bed since like 1 p.m. today, but I got out of bed to come do this. So
hell yeah. Well, we appreciate it.
My Jordan flu game, bro.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Jordan flu game.
The stakes are way lower, but
very low. There's literally nothing riding on this. Have we ever had a professional footballer have like a Jordan flu game like that?
Oh, that's a good question.
The only one I can kind of think of is when R9 supposedly played after he had that seizure in the World Cup final where they lost to France. That's the one where I think of but he wasn't that good. Jordan balled out.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it's hard to compare that. But I can't think of somebody who was ill or injured that balled out. And I'm sure somebody in the comments is going to let us know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And I think that wasn't that Jordan flu game. I think he had gotten a pizza late at night or something. So I know it's because I watched that. What was it, that documentary? The
Last Dance?
Yes, Last Dance. And he was just not feeling great the whole day and just came out and balled out. But I can't think of a footballer that did that, dude.
Yeah, I can't think of somebody that's balled out either super. I mean, I do think of that time Wayne Rooney had a broken foot and left the game for a little bit and then came back with his foot all taped up and just finished out the game. That's probably why his career was so short, was because he played injured a lot. But yeah, that'd be interesting to see if somebody if we find out later on somebody
I'm sure somebody's gonna let us know in the
Champions
comments,
League final.
Nice. I love our comment section, dude, because we miss stuff and boom, we get a lot of answers on stuff that
for sure. Okay, so let's already get it in. We know the comments are gonna roast us. Favorite number 8 of all time.
Stevie G, bro. Steven Gerrard.
That's a good shout. Stevie G is great. That is a great shout.
It's one of my favorite players of all time.
He's one of the worst managers of all time. Can we just agree on that, though?
He won a trophy in Scotland. Just want to point that out. It's Rangers' first trophy in
but Celtic was also at one of its worst.
Yeah.
But he did. I think that year he won the trophy, he won as an invincible. I think he won a true invincible, and I think he won as a centurion too. So that's pretty impressive. But I mean, he hasn't done anything since.
No. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll come back and be the. I don't know. I think he just re-signed for Saudi or something like that. Just signed a new extension to his contract. So yeah,
he doesn't want to leave like Jordan Henderson did.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I heard that there were stipulations in his contract where he may not get paid for the 6 months that he was there. Apparently, to avoid taxes or something, you have to stay there for a certain amount of time. And then when he left for Ajax, they said he didn't spend the amount of time that he was supposed to. And so we'll see what happens with all that.
Yeah, but that'll be really interesting. I think, dude, my number 8. Ooh, that's hard. There's been a lot of good number 8s. I could say Iniesta. I could say Toni Kroos. I think for me, it goes back to when I was a kid. Yeah, Kroos is a good one. Stevie G is a great one. I love Stevie G. He's up there in my top 4 Prem midfielders. But for me, I think if I had to pick a number 8, I think I might go Kaká. I know he's more known for being 22, but he was 8 at Madrid. And again, growing up, I watched him a lot. My dad loved Brazil at the time. So Kaká was a beast.
He was great at Milan, right? And then when he went to Madrid, he had a lot of injuries.
Yes,
that he just couldn't regain that.
And they signed him the same time they signed Cristiano.
Ronaldo. Yep.
The same year that they signed Benzema. So he was fighting with a lot of people, and then Ozil came, and then basically Ozil was one of Jose's favorites.
So good.
Yeah. So once Ozil kind of broke into the team, Kaká was done. And then after Madrid, did he go to Orlando at that point?
I don't know if he had a stop in between. Did he go back to Milan and then go to Madrid? Or not Madrid, sorry.
I don't know.
Orlando. Maybe Orlando. So time is weird, man. And Orlando's probably a lot further back than we think it is.
For sure.
I'll look up stuff thinking it happened in 2022 and it happened in 2017. So
let me see.
Getting old.
Shit. Yeah, and it definitely is one of those things. Yeah, I don't realize how long it's been. Since somebody was out of place. Okay, let's see. Oh no, you're right. Yeah, okay. So he left Madrid. He went to Milan from 13 to 14, and then he was Orlando 14 to 17.
Yeah, exactly. 20. I would never have guessed it was 14-17. I would have thought he was Orlando like in 2018 to like 2020.
Yeah, same. So. No, I know he's been retired for a while. But yeah, he was great. Tony Cruz, major shout, one of the best. Stevie G,
still going. One. Tony Cruz.
Let's see, who else are we missing? Was Lamps number 8?
Lampard was number 8 because he was like it's like Ryu and Ken, you know. But for some reason they could never play on England together. And on England, I think Lampard kept the 8 and Gerrard had the number 4. But for some reason when they played together, it wasn't. People thought it was going to be amazing, and it never was.
Mm-hmm. The golden gen, the first golden gen.
Yeah,
which I think it could have worked, especially moving Scholes out to the left because Scholes did play on the left with United. But I think at the time, just the way that football formation set up, I just don't think that it would have accommodated all them.
Yeah.
Like I think if you played like what they do now, like a 4-2-3-1, you could have probably put all of them in, especially backs too. But okay, so total side note, I know a lot of people argue about this. In this order, okay, I'm gonna give you 4 people, and you got to put them best to worst. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Paul Scholes, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, and Kevin De Bruyne.
Oh man, that's recency bias on De Bruyne though, because it's hard to compare those. And I saw Scholes like towards the end, so that's a tough one too. Because I'm gonna go number 1, Scholes, just because of the longevity. Wasn't he part of class of '92?
Yes.
And then he made it all the way until like 2010, 2011?
Retired in he retired, then came back. And then he finished, I think, 2013, the final season they won with Robin Van Persie. I think that was his last season.
So I'll go him number 1 for sure. I'm gonna go to De Bruyne number 2. Even though he's still playing, I think he edges above Gerrard and Lampard. As much as I hate to place the next two, well, Lampard won a lot more than Gerrard did. And there was a point in time where Steven Gerrard was thinking about going to Chelsea, and he got a lot of flack for it and didn't end up going. So I think that there was potential for Gerrard to win more than he did. So I'm gonna go Gerrard above Lampard, even though Lampard was a great player who won a lot more than Gerrard did. But I think Gerrard in that Chelsea squad could have won everything too.
For sure. It's funny that you say that order because that's literally my exact same order. Like, depending on the day, sometimes I actually will put KDB first. And he's the guy that when we watch, like, I'm not comparing him to the same level, but watching him is like watching Ronaldo and Messi for me. Like, you're watching a living legend genuinely play and dominate the game. Yeah. So sometimes I put KDB first, but then other times I'm like, I still put Scholes. Yeah. But yeah, that's literally the same order. And then I just prefer Stevie G over Lamps. Like, I respect Lamps. I like everything that he did, but just personally, I pick Stevie G. I just like Stevie G better.
Yeah, Lamps was really good at the late run into the box. He got a lot of goals that way.
Oh, yeah,
Gerrard
dude, he was just insane.
Fun. Gerrard's just a fun player to watch, dude. He was just, like, in his prime, he was phenomenal.
Yeah. I think I almost want to say that. I don't know. They're all so different in their own ways, but they're all incredible in their own ways. But I think that each of their teams, like, were perfectly set up almost around how they are as players. Scholes, not so much. I think that he fit into United a lot. But I think that, like, Pep has very much designed City around having KDB in there. And then Chelsea was designed with having Lamps at the 10. And then Liverpool, obviously, playing Gerrard wherever.
About KDB, and he's still, like, I mean, he's in his 30s now, but he was kind of a late bloomer. Like, he was at Chelsea, and so was Mo Salah. Like, so, like, two absolute legends right now in the game. We're both at Chelsea. They both kind of ran their course, went out. I think KDB went to Wolfsburg, and Salah went to
the French
Fiorentina, yeah. And then they came back to the Premier League and just dominated. So,
yeah, no, it's crazy.
Chelsea,
it's crazy.
Give your players time.
That's how Chelsea always is, though. I mean, look at Declan Rice. That's another one that they got rid of super early. I think Eddie Nketiah was a Chelsea player. I mean, he's not like levels, but you know what I mean. Some of those guys, a lot of those Chelsea guys. Cole Palmer. No, never mind. He's a City. He's City going to Chelsea.
Yeah. They're doing a lot of that. Yes, yeah.
But okay, so today, what do we want to talk about today, man? You're kind of sick, so I don't want to drag too much out of you.
So this is actually what I want to talk about. It relates to me being sick. So today in Texas, because you and I live like close together, 76. Sorry, Mark, if you're watching this. I know it's like -2 there.
I was say it was beautiful today, man. It was beautiful.
Yeah. And I just got these bad boys right here.
Let me see. Ooh, with the AG.
I know.
And you even got the tag on him.
Yeah, I do. I know. It's because I haven't gotten a chance to freaking break him in yet. Anyways, so like more than anything, I just wanted to go take these out today.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm old. I'm sick. So I kind of want to pose a question to you, and that is, you have all of these boots. I have a lot of boots.
I have a lot.
But we're both in our 30s. And
we are.
Yeah. Does it just feel like you want to so badly like put boots on, go play for like 2 hours, but you're not able to, where it's like joints, aches and pains, being sick?
Oh yeah. And I mean, it's not even just that. It's like, I have kids, trying to find time between like, hey, it's nap time, I'm going to sneak out, or running errands and everything. So yeah, on the personal life side, yes, it's very hard. But even on the body side, like, yeah, man, I play rec men's over 30 on Friday nights once a week. And Saturday mornings when I get up for work, my wife says I look like a 90-year-old man. Like I gotta like brace myself to get into the, the old man, like the as you get up. And she says she can like watch me like limp to the bathroom to get ready in the morning.
That's what I'm saying. If I have an indoor game, and usually indoor games are like late, they're like 9 p.m. on a Wednesday, I'm wrecked until like Saturday.
Oh yeah.
And then I can play maybe again on Sunday outdoor. But it's the recovery time is getting longer and longer and longer.
Mm-hmm.
But
and not only that, but I've noticed too. Okay, you could tell me if you were like this, but I used to be able to, like an indoor. For us, it's like the turf, but it's like hockey. You can run in, run out, run in, run out.
Mm-hmm.
I remember used to getting to my games like slightly late, sprinting up to the sideline, putting my stuff on, and jumping right in and playing. Now, if I don't stretch for like 30 minutes before, like I'm dying. Like my legs are killing. They're knotting up. They're tightening up too much. Like it's like painful. It's genuinely painful.
Dude, I start prepping now before I leave. Those like TheraBands that you'll see like 7MLC doing or Noah doing, where they're like, taking like
a stretchy band?
The stretchy band. Yeah. I do that at my house. My kids make fun of me. I do that at my house before I leave because I'm like, I gotta get this muscle activation. I don't want to pull something. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
for
it just
sure.
Sucks, dude. It just sucks.
Oh yeah, and I think that's honestly, like, I know it seems so simple, but I wish a lot of people would do like a genuine, almost like warm-up video. Like I know 7MLC has an old one. I know Noah's done one here and there, but like a genuine, like, hey guys, like if you're coming out, like this is what you need to do. I know they call it like the dynamic warm-up and back and forth, and if you play college or high school or anything, you know how to do it. But for people that have been out of the game for a while, I think that's a great tool. Or even kids that are just starting. I think that's a great tool to like start and be like, hey, you got to start getting your body warm. Because if I could go back in time, I would tell 18-year-old me to invest in yoga super early on, like actually stretch. Because like, yeah, dude, I have a lot of problems with my legs now just from like years of abuse.
Mm-hmm. Dude, do you ever see, you watch Become Elite, right? Occasionally?
Yeah.
Sometimes he'll do a day in the life. And it's literally like just chilling at the house all day. He'll like make a nice coffee, a nice breakfast, and he's like, I don't have to go to training till like this time, be relaxing. They'll be like, okay, guys, back from training, gonna hit the gonna take a shower, take a nap, eat some lunch, and then, you know what I mean? It's just like, man, that's awesome.
Oh yeah,
like,
dude,
that would be so nice.
I would love to be a pro. Like I would love to. It's like almost like one of those days where you want to be like a fly on the wall, and I would love to, like, if you could be, let's say, like somebody in their prime, and you could just watch their day in the life, like them get ready for game day or whatever. Like, who would you want to watch? Like at any point in football history, if you're like, I could be in the room with them.
Oh, Cristiano, I think.
Dude,
he takes it so seriously.
He's such a freak.
I actually did see a post recovery video. I don't know where I saw this at. It was on YouTube a few years ago. But like after a game, he'll come home. Obviously, he has all this crap in his house, but he'll go like swimming. He'll get in like the cryo chamber. He'll go like back in the pool, do this, like hydrate. It's just all this like stuff that we would never have as regular humans.
Oh yeah. I mean that's again, that's their job. So it's like, I'm sure there's certain things that you have for your job, or because of your job, and same for me.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, I know he has like the world's most expensive bed because he's like, I take my sleep so seriously because it's like ample to my recovery.
Yeah. I mean, his whole life. I saw him critique his son. He was like, yeah, my son wants to be one of the best players, but he still drinks Coke, so he's not very serious. I was like, yeah, bro, just calling your son out for drinking a soda.
See, it's wild too to like that we want to watch guys like him, but like on the reverse end, I would love to go back in time and watch like George Best, who's like smoking a cigarette like at halftime. They're like drinking beers like on the side of the pitch.
Yeah.
Like I want to watch like those guys and be like, how the do you go on the pitch like borderline smoking and wasted and compete, and you're like a legend.
Yeah, you're a legend, and that's what freaking Stevie Nickel will talk about. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, we would beat this team and go back and drink like 5 beers, and then like wake up the next day." I'm like, "What the heck? Like, how do y'all do that?"
Yeah, it's mental. I remember there was you ever watch Gary Neville's The Overlap?
Oh, no.
Where he like interviews. He'll interview people, and sometimes he'll do like quick fire questions, and then he'll do like a long form interview. Mm-hmm. And he talked to Roy Keane about it one time, and Roy Keane basically was like. Alex Ferguson called him and was like, I know you were out last night. Like, how many beers are you drinking? Like, per hour. Yeah. And Roy would be like, oh, maybe like 5 or 6 all night. And he's like, 5 or 6? What are you doing, Roy? And he's like, I was doing that every hour. I couldn't tell him that, though. And it's like, that's insane. Like, those guys know how to have a good time back then.
Oh, for sure.
But,
for sure.
You know, especially Keno knew how to turn it on. But, like, I feel like nowadays, like, the game is so fast and so, like, athletic that, like, I don't think anybody could get away with being unhealthy, even slightly unhealthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at like people like Jadon Sancho, who is a little bit chubbier. Mm-hmm. I mean, people tore him to shreds.
Yeah, Luke Shaw, dude.
When Shaw was like
make fun of him for being tubby.
Oh yeah, dude, it's insane. But I mean, still amazing players. But yeah, like if you're not peak physical fitness, like you won't last in the game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So okay, so get back. So you got your AGs. You're sick. Mm-hmm. You're hurting.
Yeah.
Did you still kind of Jordan yourself up and force yourself out there, or did you bum it up
and
take a nap?
I took 2 naps today.
I
got home from work at like 12, hopped into bed, freaking slept a couple times, took some vitamin C, took some freaking like soup, all the good stuff, hydration. So
nice. Okay, good. Well, I hope you feel better, man. You look
same.
Well, honestly, you just look terrible, but I hope you feel better. Okay, fine. So one thing I want to talk about today, because it got brought up with the Boot Society, is a small topic that we can kind of address. We don't have to go too much into it tonight. Is when do you think, like, the golden years for football boots were? Or, like, when do you think that, like, boots almost reached their peak? And now they either kind of plateaued or they've kind of started to go back down. Like, do you have, like, a boot in mind where you're like, oh, that was pinnacle?
Yes.
Boot time for me. Okay. Oh, you said that.
Yeah. No. And this is only because like I lived through, like we're old enough to have lived through this era. Mm-hmm. There was a shift in like the early 2000s. I want to say like 2002, 2004, where when I got to high school, a lot of people were wearing the Total 93s. Remember, it had like the big old like 90
on the inside, yeah.
On the inside, yeah. So that was like super popular. And then like the following year is when the Air Legends came out, and I was like, dang, this is like legit. And like that was the first time in my life I had to beg my parents for like top end boots, because before then they were just buying me whatever was at like Academy, and I was like, oh no, like I want to have like this kind, like this specific kind, this like $100 plus pair, and you know I had to work for it. But that was when I really noticed, like that was when like you started to get like multiple colorways of like the Tiempos. You had like the white Ronaldinho, with the T90s you had like a lot of cool colors. With the Mercs you had a lot of cool colors in that era. So it was like, I feel like that was kind of, to me, maybe like 04 to like 08. You know, I would say like actually you could extend it even further. Maybe like 04 to 2010, you know, if you want to go long, but like really like 04 to 08.
Really? That's when you think boots were kind of at their best?
I think that's tough. I would say that was when they were probably meant the most to me. Okay. In terms of like, oh wow, like this is really cool. Like I feel like now, not that we're both a little bit more jaded, but I think we kind of analyze it a lot and we'll look at a lot of different ones. And this is when it was a real rarity to kind of see somebody that had a certain type of boots, and you can only have like one a year, you know? Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I mean, that's fair. See, mine is kind of like a little after that. But I would say like kind of between like 2010 to like, I want to say 2014, because that was that World Cup. But like, I'll push it a little further and go 2016 just so I can get those gens in. But I think that like for me between the two, like especially around 2014, like you got to think that was like peak Nike and peak Adidas. Puma was doing pretty well with the Evo Speed and Evo Power, but I mean I think of like Adidas with that 2014 F50. They had the Predator Instinct, which is a really solid Predator. The Nitro Charge, I don't think enough people. I think it's a boot that's just kind of lost. Like enough people didn't really wear them, so people don't think about them. And then the 11 Pro was okay. It's probably their. No, I would still say the Nitro Charge was worse. But then you go back to Nike, and Nike had the freaking.
That was like the high neck collar era.
Yeah, the Magistas, the Superfly 4s. What was that? The Tiempo Legend 5, which is arguably one of the better Tiempos, and then the Hypervenom Phantom 1, which again I think is a massively overrated boot. We're not here to beat a dead horse, but I would say that like especially for Nike, like 2014 was like really solid. But then I think like back to like I think because to me I always think of tournaments and like what people were wearing in tournaments, and then if you go back 2 years to the Euros, you had the Vapor 8. With like the white and pink, you have the CTR 360 Maestri. I think it was the 2, the Legend 4, the T90 Laser 4. So again, a really strong lineup. And then you go to 2010, and it was Superfly 2, T90 Laser 3, Legend 3, and then I think Maestri 1. So like I think of that's why I always think of like between the World Cup 2010 and the Euros 2016. I just think that you had like, I think everything they were putting out was almost like banger after bangers.
I think that's a really good point. That's actually a time period where I think the marketing was so good. Like if you go back and watch that Nike's 2010 World Cup video with, I want to say it had like Ronaldo and Drogba and Rooney. And that was kind of not peak marketing, but that was where like a video came out and like you would watch it and like that pack would be out and you could see all the boots. Like it was... That's actually that's a great time period for for all that, for marketing and everything.
Yeah, and see, that's how I think of 2014. And 2014 had one of my favorite, I think it's like one of the most genius Nike commercials, but it's the Winter Stays On, where like the kids go on like the grass pitch and they start saying the players and they transform into the players and it keeps going on. I think that's one of the coolest ads ever. Like whoever at Nike was out there, like props, because you crushed it with that one.
Do they do that anymore? I feel like I haven't seen. Oh no, they did the for this last World Cup they did like the they were pulling in like old players like Ronaldinho, and it was like a timeline thing where like it was like people in a lab and they were typing in players like the OG Ronaldo and Ronaldinho, and they would like come play with like modern day players.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen that.
Oh, you gotta watch it.
I would say I have ad blockers on everything, and I always pay extra for like all my streaming apps to not have commercials. So I'll have to look that up. Yeah, I'm Bushi.
I'll send it to you after this.
Yeah. But it's like, I always think of like, it's really hard for me to try to pinpoint, because I think of like I said, I think of a lot of tournament years, and that's like there's certain boots at that point that stick out. Like to me, if I go 02, I instantly think of Predator Mania. Like instantly 2002, that World Cup, that's what I think of. So it's like I try to like kind of break my stuff up like that.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, and I should probably compartmentalize like that as well, because probably help my brain out. But
yeah, but it's interesting that you went with one World Cup, but then I went with the following.
Yeah, definitely. Let me see. There was another good question here, and I want to give them a shout out.
Yeah, Proper Boots said eras. Jason talked about the Predator. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. I think that's a good one. Okay, so Jason said in the chat, he said, are people whining too much about black, white, red / orange having some Volt in it? And he's talking about the new Predators. And he said, should every Predator launch colorway be black, white, red? So let's start with that. So do you think that people are whining too much about the colorway of the Pred, the main launch?
You're talking about like not the 30, but like the one that you have, like the nice like kind of.
No, the one after that, the new one that just came out, where it's like mostly black. It has the orange tongue.
I know exactly which one you're talking about, because I basically in my brain just like skipped over that one because the white ones are coming out.
That's the one that Noah just reviewed.
Yeah. Yes, the Volt, and it's like a reddish orange. Yeah. Yeah. I don't mind the Volts. I'm not like, I'll just be straight up. Like, I'm not a huge fan of black boots. So that black base I was already kind of like, and I knew that the white ones are coming out today because today's the 30th, right? Somewhere around there.
Yes, the white ones did drop this morning.
Yeah. But I don't. That's just kind of like a modern thing now, right? It's like you'll have like a splash of Volt, a splash of like highlighter pink. Like it's just kind of how it goes now.
Mm-hmm. And then, do you think that every Predator launch colorway should be black, white, red, like the classics?
I think that'd be kind of cool. I think they should do that.
See, I do too. See, the problem that I have is like I love when they do that, but they've gotten to the point to where not every generation even has black, white, and red, and I think that's a huge missed opportunity. But I think that like I love like the Predator 30. Don't get me wrong, I thought that was a super cool launch. But I do think, and you know, we've talked about this before. I think that they should do the all white pair, a basic colorway. So they should do a black, white, red, and then all black colorway.
All black pair. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
Think that would be absolutely sick.
They've been successful with that. They did it with the accuracy and the pure .1 or pures first ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But you know, it's like even like that, like the accuracy. It's like, why pink? Why couldn't you just do red? Like everybody wants red.
Oh yeah,
why
they did do like
red?
A black and pink.
You know what I mean? And it's like
that's what I'm saying. It's like it's either like a Volt yellow or like a highlighter neon pink. Like I don't.
Yeah, for me the Volt thing, Volt is just already such an overused color, especially with Nike boots more than Adidas.
Yeah.
And so I just get sick of seeing Volt. Because Nike, for a while there was like a point where they were trying to put Volt on like every boot, even if it didn't need it. They're like...
I remember kind of when that started. Do you remember the Tempo Legend 3? There was like a white, and then the swoosh was like a nice, like cool, like Volt green colorway. Yeah, that was a cool boot.
Yeah, and I remember they did it with the... They did it with like the Vapor 9s. Like it was like that orange to bronze colorway. Like the Vapor Fade, it said Nike in white on the instep. But then the swoosh was like this bright Volt, and it just sticks out. And
yeah,
again, like I like Volt. Like I think it does work sometimes, but it's just one of those colors where I'm like, take it easy, man. Like we get it.
Right. That was kind of their
Nike,
signature.
Like, that's your color. Yeah.
Like the Vapor 7s had they had like Volt on the stud, maybe like on the backs or something, and then like they had like the little dots.
And like even like back where we were talking about the World Cup 2014 World Cup colorways, pink and Volt.
Yeah,
that's literally the two colors they went with. So I do think it's an eye-catching color. And again, that's kind of Nike's color. They use it on their running line. They use that color a lot where they can. So, but yeah, I do think that it would be better if the Predators did a black, white, and red launch along with the all white and the all black. But that's just me. I like those. Okay, so another point that got brought up today to me that I didn't realize, but when I looked, what do you think about the all white Predator 30, right? The one I had showed off, I got it for retail at $280. Okay,
yeah.
Adidas had it on their website today, $280, but then other retailers, other websites had it for $300. Like Pro Direct had it marked up to $300.
I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, but is it on Adidas' website? Are they keeping it at the $280 price?
At last I saw on Adidas.com, it was at $280. And the reason I bring this up is because our good friend James over at Boot Wizard made a video not too long ago. And if we can figure out how to do it, we're gonna link it down in the description or in the comments so people can find what James is talking about. But James had a really well thought out and put out video where he called out Unisport, not J-Mike, but Unisport as a company, and they were selling the Tony Cruz boots and Messi boots for well over retail. So Unisport.com was almost doing reseller prices. And to me, I just have a huge issue with that.
Yeah, I remember that. And it's really crap, like, because I just looked for my size on Adidas and like it's not even there. So my only option now, if I wanted a white pair, would be to go to another retailer like Pro Direct. And it's really shitty that I've got to pay like another $20 to actually get that.
Yeah, and that's if they have your size models.
Yeah, it's all the models.
Again, I guess like people are like, oh, inflation, this and that, but I'm like, well, it's just price. I mean, that's just marking up. They're just increasing their markup just because they can.
Yeah.
Again, we've talked about prices, but again, I think that's really crappy of some of these retailers to charge more money just because they can.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like it's definitely one of those. if I wanted that white pred, like if you hadn't kind of said like, hey, your foot might not fit into it, I would probably have to pay the extra money if I wanted the fold over tongue, which sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that's, to me, it's wrong. I think that's wrong. You know, we talked about last week scalpers and how we already disagree with what they do and the upcharge and everything. But again, like for a retailer to pay that, because they get it directly from Adidas, and yes, I know they pay out of pocket or whatever to get these boots, but they ain't paying what they're charging, not even close.
No.
So yeah, I don't like that. I think it's shady. I think it's sneaky, and like things like that make me not want to support that business / buy from them. And I'm a big person on trying to vote with my wallet. Like, if I don't want to pay an extra $20 on a boot that I'm already having to pay an extra $20 just so I can have a tongue. So I'm paying $40.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we always say is vote with your wallet. Unfortunately, that's a colorway you probably can't get away. And if you want that colorway, you're probably going to have to pay that price for it. Because, I mean, you know what? They might do a second wave with these with this white colorway. Because they did that with the Accuracy and the Copa Pure 1, right? Okay.
Yeah, and they just did the Crazy Fast came out in the all white, and it had a pack before too.
Yeah, and I'm not guaranteeing that. I'm just saying they've done that in the past. If you can't get it now, it's not you're not doomed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely say that's what I try to tell people. Like, if you can wait, like they will eventually. You'll either find them for cheaper or they'll come back out and you can get them. But like, don't be so desperate, because again, we talked about this with resellers. It's the same way. Like, you can go hunting for it online, but don't pay outrageous prices. Like I've seen people selling them for $350 already. I've seen people selling them for over $400. Like when I got them early access, the people that hit me up, I just sold them for what I paid.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'll pay this. Just send me the money. Like, and that to me, like, that's probably dumb of me. I could have made money, but at the end of the day, like, this is a community to me, and it's like, if I can get these people these boots, like, it's no different if they came to the store and just bought them themselves. That's kind of how I looked at it. I wasn't trying to make money on them.
Right.
Okay, so one last topic I want to talk about. We're gonna cut this episode short because I know you're not feeling well, man. You need to get to bed.
Yeah.
Kai sent a message and he says, are older boots actually better, or do you think we're just being nostalgic? And he said, example, the Hypervenom Phantom 1, and then our other good friend Tom said the Predator LZ. So I'm assuming he's talking about maybe the 1 or the 2. But what do you think? Do you think older boots are actually better, or do you think that we have rose-tinted glasses on?
I think, I don't want to sit on the fence and say a little of both, but I think that there's some pairs that I would definitely still wear now over... Like, there's some timeless pairs. And we've kind of seen that, like, modern... Like, okay, let me back up here because I'm going on a tangent. But I'll say, like, right now, especially with, like, the bigger brands, you're gonna have, like, objective measures to say, like, these boots are more responsive. They get more traction. They get more water repellent. They're grippier, right? So, objectively, it checks all the boxes. These modern boots are better than boots that are made 10, 15 years ago. But if I'm somebody who prefers to wear like leather boots with like kind of flatter conical studs, I would go with Tiempo Legend 4s over something like, like this completely modernized Nike here. And I think it's a combination of preference and like, I think that's about it. Like, it's honestly like your preference. Like, yeah, you can say like a boot like this, like the GX2, like it's got everything you need. It's got grip elements. It's got lockdown. It's got like the nice comfy knit. Like you can kind of change whatever sole plate you want. I mean, whatever like AG or the like Luna, classic Luna sole plate, the Cyclone. But honestly, like if Nike, like we've talked about this before, if they did remakes and they did a Legend like 3, 4, or 5, I'd be wearing that over this.
Really?
Yeah.
What if it was $350? Because remakes always come at a premium.
If it was a white and gold Tiempo Legend 4, I would pay $350.
I know exactly which pair. Would you want the Elite or the regular?
Hopefully I'd be getting the Elite for $350.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
No one Nike. Like, see, that's my thing. It's like I'm kind of like you. I kind of ride the fence with this because I think that in some ways classical boots are better, but I mean objectively, new boots are better. I mean, just objectively, like you said, the way the materials work, the way they last, everything should be better.
How light they are.
Yeah. So I think that for me, the best way that I can put it is almost like when you combine them, and it does sound like a cop out, but to me, like the Predator remakes, like I will take a Predator Absolute remake over an OG Predator Absolute.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that having the lighter sole plate, I mean, getting rid of the what is it called? It's not the Power Pulse system. It might be the Power Pulse system back then, but whatever. The weighted thing, I get rid of that, but keep everything else the same. Like I think that a lot of times the uppers are better on older boots, and I think the sole plates are better on newer boots. But you run into things like what's a good modern remake that? Okay, like for example, we talk about nostalgia. Okay,
yeah,
people when the CTR 360 Maestri 3 remake came out, the yellow and black one that Nike just did before the TMO Legend 10, people were super hyped about it. And I watched a ton of reviewers who got it, and a lot of them said, yeah, this isn't as good as I remember. And I think that that's what happens a lot of times is because people get so disgruntled with how boots are now, that we look back and we're like, oh yeah, that used to fit. Like, oh, I love that boot. Or like, oh, I had these great. And so again, I think it's like what we came back when we talked about my sister and those manias. I think that the memories that you kind of stick together with certain boots will always make them a 10 out of 10, even if they weren't. Like objectively, my T90 Laser 3s, not that good of a boot. They're heavy, they're clunky, they're full of rubber, borderline dangerous to wear on AG, even though I do it. That is a boot that is dangerous to wear on AG. But yeah, like if you handed me that and you're like, Justin, this is your only pair out of your collection you can wear for the rest of the season, I'd happily wear that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you gave me something like this Strand Adidas X, I don't think I'd be too happy.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a really good. It's a good point.
But that's kind of where I think about it. So I think it's like, I think that nostalgia does play a huge part, but I don't necessarily think that's always a bad thing.
Yeah, and I think it does, especially like, and Adidas has this market on lock, but it does bring a lot of hype with remake boots.
Mm-hmm.
It is like it bringing you a nostalgic experience, but also a modernized experience, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure. I think, and another way to put it too is like, I love playing in a modern boot. I love the look of an old boot. I think that's the best way I could just like sum that up.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's probably why we're into these like non-flashy colorways, because we didn't have a lot of those back in the day.
No, exactly. You know, I remember when Volt first came out on the Accelerator, and it was like, whoa, those are like, you got to be a baller to wear those.
Yeah. Now you can just be any Joe Schmo. Went to Academy, got the takedowns.
Any Joe Schmo with $400, you can be the next Zidane. You can look like him and headbutt people the same way he did.
You could.
But with that, man, I think we're going to conclude today's episode. We're going to keep it short and sweet, guys. He's not feeling well, so I don't want to keep him up all night.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll wake up and be like, did we even do that? Ramblings of a madman.
Yeah, hopefully by let's see. So today's Tuesday? So hopefully maybe by Friday you'll be feeling well.
Yeah, I hope so. And the weather's supposed to be like 70s. Sorry for those of you that don't live in Texas.
Yeah, I know. Mark's like fucking foaming at the mouth.
Yeah,
to hear 70 degrees.
It's got too many layers on.
Before we get out of here, man, do you have any questions? Anything you want to bring up?
Questions?
Yeah, is there anything you want to talk about?
I don't think so.
Okay,
a lot of good topics today. We got to thank the boot group today, because
the boot group carried us a little bit today, but that's why I like being part of it, because those guys definitely think outside the box. And if you want to think outside of the box, leave a comment down below. It would really help us out. Colby, plug in your socials, man. Tell us where the people can find you.
I am at Kicking It With Colbs on Instagram and at Kicking It With Colbs on YouTube. So come check me out.
And I am at Texas Cleat Collector. You can find the podcast at Bootcast Pod. We like to post some of the questionnaires that we do for like hot takes or anything like that. So make sure you follow us so you can be part of that. Like the video, comment, subscribe. It always helps us out. I'll tell you that every video. And with that, man, we'll say goodnight.
All right, brother. Good night.